yesterday was Mother's Day. That means Kelly had her day off, and now it's time to plant the tomato plants. The winter plants are thriving, you know, the sweet peas and the onions and the broccoli and the cauliflower and whatever else we plant that we may or may not enjoy eating. But today we're going to plant the good stuff. That is, tomato plants are going in. We're going to set up a 4-foot by 5-foot grid. We're going to drive some stakes and stretch some lines and put some holes in the ground and get things off to a great start because spring has sprung.
Well, today's the day. We've got a nice variety of tomato plants that I bought from our local nursery. I think that they probably know what is the best variety for this area. We have a combination of Early Girl, Beefsteak, Better Boy, Ace, Celebrity, and maybe, a couple of Yellow Jubilee, because I really like those. I have learned over the years from various people that you pinch off these bottom, not sure what they're called, pinch them off, and you plant them pretty deep. And we've had really good luck with that. I've also heard of people doing this and planting them on their sides deep. I haven't done that. I think it's probably fine. I think, that works for you. That is good. This works for us. We look forward to this day all year long. It's May 15th, and here we go. Greg planted tomatoes here for years, only he planted 75, and it would take up the whole thing. And he's going to be the holder of the plants as I do this. You approve of what's going on here, Greg?
Whatever you want to do.
He gives me all the license I want.
Okay, so Kelly's worked all morning. I worked for an hour, and the tomatoes are in. Okay, that's a big check mark. But this watering device explains why I take so much fussiness and frankly silliness with the layout. If the layout is right, the sprinkler works. Next step, potatoes, corn, and basil. So this pipe's full of water. I've got to kind of drain it a little bit. There's not much in life that is more temporary than a vegetable garden. These vegetables are all annuals. You plant them, you tend them, you water them, you weed them, you pick their produce, you eat it, and they die, and it's torn up every fall. But there's something about the spring, isn't there? It's, C.S. Lewis referred to spring one time as part of a cycle that is both always predictable and therefore mundane and always new. And springtime is new. And planting a garden with the expectation and the optimism that implies, I think is healthy. And I appreciate so much what I learned from my folks about this, and I appreciate so much the chance to be here on the place that they spent so many years on, with the chance to take the garden to the next level. I wish my mom could have seen it. She would have loved it. My dad is not a detail guy, and he doesn't understand spending money for aesthetics, and so I think it's a bit of a trial to him. But all in all, it's a blessing to Kelly and I think to our kids, and I know to our grandkids. And that, I think, is reason enough to to till this ground and spend this money and spread this mulch and plant these plants and then water them and weed them and try to keep them alive and try to fence the deer out and do everything that raising a garden implies. Well, whatever else happens with the garden this year, year 3 for the raspberries appears to be an out-of-control success. Thousands of berry sets on top of this little hedge. The last bit of the garden introduction this year shows a garden failure. Our second setting of corn didn't germinate. This is the first setting. 3 good rows, lots of good weeds, but we've got it mulched at the front and at the end, and the corn will shade out the weeds in the middle. But the second setting, which we tried to start from seed, just didn't make it. There's not enough corn there to count it as a win at all, so I'm going to plow it up and start fresh. You know, as I spend time out here on this little patch of dirt, putting these plants in and tending them and then interacting with people in the garden and around the garden and talking about it and thinking about this simple pleasure, I hope, and I'm beginning to believe, that maybe planting a garden can contribute to some of the most important interactions and lessons and days that are possible for us to spend. Thanks for watching Essential Craftsman, and keep up the good work.